This happened to me. I didn't cause this. I didn't do it. This happened to me, and it can happen to anyone.
Rihanna has barely welcomed her third baby, and she's already stirring things up by allegedly spilling the tea on Beyoncé, accusing her of covering up for Diddy and even participating in his infamous freak-offs. For years, fans have wondered why Rihanna and Beyoncé never collaborated, especially considering how close they both were to Jay-Z. Well, it looks like we finally have an answer. Rihanna once called Beyoncé her biggest inspiration, but these days she barely acknowledges her. According to reports, Rihanna had to deal with more than just Jay-Z allegedly making advances toward her. Claims even say he assaulted her in his office when she was just 17. But the shocker? She reportedly turned to Beyoncé for support during that time, only to find out that Beyoncé allegedly wasn't the supportive girl's girl she portrays herself to be. People started questioning Beyoncé's relationship with Diddy after Freddie P., a former member of the group Da Band from Diddy's old MTV show Making the Band, exposed some behind-the-scenes dirt. He revealed that the infamous walk to get cheesecake wasn't even Diddy's idea, it was Beyoncé's. According to Freddie, Beyoncé told Diddy she wanted cheesecake from a specific spot, and instead of sending someone from her own team, she allegedly let Diddy humiliate the group by forcing them to walk 4 hours across New York City to get it, all for TV. At the time, most viewers thought Diddy was being cruel for fun, but if Freddie's story is true, it was Beyoncé's request, all along. And rather than being horrified by how those young artists were treated, Freddie claims Beyoncé showed no concern and enjoyed the cheesecake without a second thought. Now that these allegations are surfacing, people are rethinking everything they thought they knew about the power dynamics between Beyoncé, Diddy, and the artists around them.
A lot of people don't know that cheesecake we went and got was for Beyoncé. She was upstairs the whole time. What we was talking about again? Hold on. Yeah, that's a fun fact. People don't know. People like, y'all walked, we got a cheesecake. It was for Beyoncé. I'm the type of I listen to everything you say as if it's a contract. So if you say walk to the store or walk to give me some cheesecake, walk to get me some cheesecake, I'm not walking back. And that's just what me and Darlon did. And they like, why y'all, they hot. Like y'all cheating. We like, he told us to walk. He didn't tell us to walk back. So we already in the hotel like 3 hours before they got there. When they said they was coming, we went and met them in front of the building. And the first thing he said out of his mouth, he said, man, we got her cheesecake. He was like, man, she said that's for Beyoncé. And he said, it was like, yeah, man, we wanted to tell you, Fred and Darlon, and then he walked back. Trying to bring some snitches. He was like, I ain't tell you to walk back.
At the time Freddie revealed the cheesecake story, people couldn't understand why Diddy would go to such lengths just to please Beyoncé. As far as the public knew, Diddy didn't have much personal connection to her outside of her being Jay-Z's wife. But now it's being alleged that Beyoncé was also involved in Diddy's infamous freak-offs, a claim that recently resurfaced thanks to rapper DaBaby. DaBaby spilled the tea during a conversation about a private party he attended at Diddy's house. According to him, Diddy suddenly kicked everyone out of the room, leaving only DaBaby, Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and himself. Once they were alone, he claims Beyoncé started talking to him more than expected, and even introduced herself. Like, girl, you're Beyoncé. Of course he knows who you are. Jaguar Wright later chimed in on the situation, alleging that what DaBaby experienced was actually the start of a freak-off and that Beyoncé was trying to seduce him. According to Jaguar, Beyoncé was going after DaBaby for some of that hood D, suggesting that Jay-Z wasn't satisfying her anymore because he's getting a little OD. These allegations have reignited discussions about the secret dynamics and darker side of the entertainment industry, especially involving some of its most powerful figures.
I was at a party at Diddy crib in LA. This was beginning of 2020. You know what I mean? Diddy had put everybody else out the crib, like the influx of people he had put him out. But he had took a liking to me in particular around the time, man. It was really, you know what I mean, like putting his arm around me.
Right.
So he had put majority of the people out, allowed me to stay in there. Me and maybe about 15 others.
Right.
Jay-Z and Beyonce being, two of the other 15 people in the room. So that'll just put it into perspective of the type of company I was in.
Right.
At the moment, and she came over and introduced herself to me like as if she had to.
Right.
Beyonce, cut it out. And I'm a big fan of your work, you know what I'm saying? And that was just dope. That was dope as hell to me, man. That was dope.
What he is a broke down Mandingo fighter still working on behalf of the NFL. That's what he is. Period. You want to know what else I also find funny? That he did that interview with the baby person who sat there and told him about when he met Beyonce. Y'all remember that? That happened on Shay Shack. And he talked about how he was at the Diddy party at Diddy's house. And how after, the festivities were winding down and it was getting later into the middle of the night, approaching 3 a.m., Diddy got rid of almost everybody. And he let the baby stay behind with him and his close friends. And then he talked about how Beyonce was there and Jay-Z was there. Not at their house, at Diddy's house. And how Beyonce presented herself to him. And she didn't have to do that because he knew who she was and he couldn't believe she was talking to him. She approached him. Kind of like how she approached that old friend of his when he said that he was at the party and the little people was there and she asked him, "Isn't this sexy?" My. How illuminating. There's been a lot of freaking off going on for a long time. How does everybody keep... Let me tell you this. Beyonce, Giselle knows harder. Does not matter how much money they spend, how many people those tickets ain't gonna stand. You're caught. You share the common sense that animals do when they're caught. They just surrender. But no, y'all gonna fight it to the very end. Y'all gonna bring this broke down old NFL bum who apparently will do anything with his genitals to help cover or create validity where there is none with the weirdo. With his little orange purse. Screwing people's heads. Screwing kids young enough to be his grandchildren. Shit. You a dirty old man. Period.
But this is where things take an even darker turn. Word on the street is that at some point, Jay-Z and Beyoncé allegedly tried to get Rihanna involved in those freak-offs, and that's when everything changed. Reportedly, when Rihanna refused to participate, they retaliated by sabotaging her career, including the alleged leak of her Anti album. That was the final straw for her, and it's believed that's when she decided to distance herself from the music industry for good. Many fans believe this is the real reason Rihanna has been so hesitant to return to music. She knows what she's experienced behind the scenes and has no interest in going back to that toxic environment, especially when she's already making billions from her Fenty empire. And just for a bit of context, Rihanna once deeply admired Beyoncé and even publicly called her one of her biggest inspirations. So, for things to spiral the way they did shows just how complicated and disturbing this situation might really be.
Yeah, she actually wrote me this cute little letter, and she signed it with her autograph. It was so cute. When I first met her, and she wrote, she was telling me just let loose when you perform and just have fun and be in control.
However, their relationship reportedly went downhill once Rihanna began achieving mainstream success. The more she got to know Beyoncé, the more that initial admiration seemed to fade. Things took a turn for the worse when Beyoncé released her song Bow Down, which many fans interpreted as a diss toward Rihanna. People quickly called Beyoncé out for being a hypocrite. She went from empowering women with messages like "girls run the world" to suddenly referring to those same women as B-words and demanding they bow down to her. The contradiction didn't go unnoticed, and it added even more tension to the rumored rift between the two stars.
bow down B over and over from the woman who preaches empowering women is a bit unsettling to some.
I just feel like it's kind of, it's hard to swallow. Just very hard to swallow. Having seen her in a different light.
I don't like it. I don't think it's her. I don't think it goes to what she represents.
I love Beyonce, but I honestly think that Jay-Z's putting thoughts in her head.
You're on a Pepsi can, for goodness sake. To tell B words, bow down. And then you're saying girls run the world.
And
Instead of Beyoncé taking the L and recognizing that she may have been wrong for coming at Rihanna like that, she got super defensive and refused to apologize. Rather than clearing the air or addressing the backlash, she stood her ground, further fueling speculation that there was real tension between her and Rihanna.